So looking at the shed from here, this is where I could have had a window and it would have looked really, really nice there. I would have really liked to have had the window there. But I know that we get so much wind coming down the garden, and it's just going to eventually ruin that window. So I chose not to have a window at this side. I'll take you around now to the inside. Now, I could have put the door to this side and the window over to the other side, but I thought to myself, if I put the doors on the other side, then if it's raining and windy, then I would be drafted a little bit. So I chose to put the window, the second window, here. And the reason being that eventually, if I was working from inside, I would have a better view. So I'd just have to trim that down to enjoy that view a little bit. So I'm finding this bit a little bit difficult because when I align these boards, they're just different on both sides. So I put this one on, and let's start with the left side. I did it right up to here, all the way down. That's fine. Now, if I start this board at the same place down here, flush with there, and I go up, then I find that it comes up here. It could be that I have to just trim that bit off at the end. Alhamdulillah, finally I've got some shelter. It would be better if I had a ladder where I could walk across, like some of you have. Now, I just want to check that I'm not coming out of line. So that's okay. That seems reasonable. I didn't realise that this tree is so close. It would have been nice to build a tree house coming from the shed. I think that's a little bit too adventurous for me, but why is some of it brown and some of it orange? Is it that I didn't mix the tin properly? All my nails dropped off my ladder and went everywhere. And I'm sorry to say that it's happened about 3 times. Oh no, bird poo. Stop ruining my shed. We've got the next lot. We've nearly finished the roof, and I'm hoping to get a lot done now because we had Eid yesterday, and obviously we don't get a lot done on that day. So Eid Mubarak to everybody. Now, just got the roof left, just a little bit of the roof left. And funnily enough, on Eid day, you know, I'm sat with all the uncles and they've got a lot of advice to give. And there's some funny things that were said as well. So I mentioned about putting foam, expanding foam down underneath the floor to kind of strengthen it and stop any movement. And I was told that that would be really, really expensive, as expanding foam is quite expensive. It costs about £10 a tin, a tube, sorry. And other than that, I was told that I should have bolted this shed down because apparently it's going to fly away. I said that nothing was said like that in the instructions. It's quite heavy, so I don't think it's going to fly away. So we'll see how it goes. So something else I was told was that I should have got the type of nails that well, they're more weatherproof. And unfortunately, I went to the local DIY shop and I got some that aren't, so they're likely to rust. I hope that the rubber roof, when it goes on, it kind of takes away any moisture. And I was also told by an uncle that the problem with the rubber roof is that they end up cracking up. So that's unfortunate. Hey, these uncles give a lot of advice, don't they? And I was also told that I should maybe paint over the rubber if it does crack up. So I think that's a good idea. So let's get this on. The problem is, if you leave it today, then the wood swells up and it's harder to get these tongue and groove. See that swinging down? Bit of fun. So just a little bit to go. I'm so glad that I treated it inside the house, because I didn't have any idea that I would have so much rain to deal with. But I'm hoping that the water has not gone inside the wood, and I can, on a dry day, do another coat, and then even another one after that. That's my chair. That's kind of a ladder for me. Makes it easier. So I'm working on the windows now. My wife actually said to me, come on, make some progress. And so I'm doing the windows because that's something that she's definitely going to notice the difference then. I've attached this hinge here. The hinge is actually a bit wonky. We're going to see how that lines up outside. Put it on now. There we are. And from this, you can see that the hinge directly lines up with the screws that they've put in. So I don't know where I'm supposed to screw my screws in. Maybe I'll have to take those screws out then. So it's probably best to put this in now. I don't want to be hammering the window when it's up, and on the hinges, they're not the strongest hinges. I'll tell you what, if there's anything that I would change about this design, I would change the floor, because it's very, very weak. The other thing I would change is this window design, because I mean, how long is this going to last in the weather that we have in the UK? I'm going to have to build another shelter over the top of it just to protect it. I don't have faith in this. I mean, if you look, I've just screwed in here. I mean, they're asking you to screw right next to the edge, and so I've just cracked that. I'm so glad that I stained the end of these, but then you look and it doesn't fit, so you think, what's the point? I'm going to have to trim this. And is there enough gap at the top for the top? I don't think so. There, I've just cut off the end. Fits perfectly now. Let's have another. it. You have to get that one in first, and then that one. There we are. So the only way I could fix the little wood strips onto the windows was to cut them down. I had to do that with every single piece. And now I'm going to put this on the door and we are going to see if it fits. And you can probably tell that it's not likely. And again, you see? So what's the problem here? Is it the perspex or the door? I think it's the door. The door's not been measured properly and cut properly. So alhamdulillah that this piece actually fits. But I've got 4 pieces left, which means I don't have enough. And that is far too big. I don't know what happened here when they were making these, or who counted the number of pieces, but it's all wrong. So like with the other door, I'm just chiseling out any bits that were in the way for the perspex to slot in, and there as well. Right, so we've got the hinges on, just hanging over, and I want this to open without catching. So just put a large peg underneath here, because that's the side that's going to lean down the most, and so that's secure. That will give me an opportunity to screw this in the right place, inshallah. So we've got the top screw in, got the second one in. Let's see if it opens. That's not catching on the top, it's not catching on the bottom. So this strip here will prevent any water coming further inside. It's also really good because the door, when it's properly closed, can stay attached to it without moving, and which moves me on to this, because I have 2 of these, which we may as well put that away. You can use it like that to make sure these doors don't go around. So I'm just improvising a little bit, because some of the pieces that they say are in the instructions that you're supposed to have, you actually don't have them. So I'm going to make, with some of the other pieces that you see, there are other pieces which haven't been used. I've got extra pieces of timber that I can use. So I've cut down one of the pieces that I've already treated, and I'm going to put it on that bottom edge, inshallah. It's always very helpful whilst you're building to have your wood preserver ready for you, just in case you have any fresh cuts. You can just give it a soak before you put it on. Assalamu alaikum. Such a nice morning this summer. Wow, I shouldn't have driven on there. So there we are. I'm going to leave it to dry out a little bit before putting the roof on. I want the glue to stick. They give you like this rubber glue, so don't want to mess that up. I think I'll only have one opportunity to do that right. So let's have a look around. I think we can take these pieces of wood away now. I've given it enough time to dry, so let's do that now.
على جبين